Where would you like to rot? That's right, rot. When you die, where and how would you like your body to return to this earth? Now, this might seem like a very morbid question, but it's these sort of questions that I live for. I love questions that just break your default, ever chattering mind that's worrying about the day-to-day things. It just brings you back to the profound realities, the inevitability of each one of our lives. And sometimes learning how we want to die can help us reverse engineer how we want to live. So stay tuned to the sweet pondering. Hi folks, how's it going? Welcome to another pondering for the Deep Dive channel. So I've just been camping. I'm out camping in a new spot, not that far away from my house. My partner Kiva and I found this spot about 6 months ago, just on a walk, and I was like, this is the most magical place ever. Got this beautiful wee pool, got my hammock set up here, taking my resilient ruck system out for a spin. Maybe you can see it in there. Yeah, and it's been really good to just come and connect. It's been a really busy summer, a lot of stuff going on. I hadn't actually had much time to get out camping and practicing skills, so it's been good to come and ground myself back in the woods. And yeah, perfect place for a pondering, I thought. So, where would you like to rot? I think I came up with this question actually on a newsletter or a blog a couple of years ago, but I included it in this month's live call for my online school Resilient Roots. So every month on my school Resilient Roots, I set what I call the 3P learning prompts. So the idea is giving people 3 things. They can have to do one of them, and it's just to give some motivation to go and learn and practice skills, and also gives us something to discuss on our monthly live calls. And the 3Ps, the first one is always the same, and it's primal adventure, and it's just to encourage people to go out, whether it's a day trip, a multi-day trip, whatever it is, but just go out and do something new. Go out and practice a new shelter system, go explore a new area, just go out and push your comfort zone just a little bit. So that's primal adventure. The second P, is a practice from home. So this is for folks who might not be able to go out camping that month, whatever, and practice from home changes every month. It could be practice firelighting skills, it could be make a survival food ration, it could be practice staff martial arts, or this coming month it is make a primitive hunting weapon, which I look forward to seeing what people come up with. And the third one is a pondering. P, the final P is for pondering, and this question changes every month as well. And the idea is to create discussion around greater things, such as helping our primal minds navigate the 21st century, or more sort of profound questions like, where would you like to rot? So last month, my question was actually, is connection to land and place a human need? And if so, how can we help people feel a deep connection to where they live? And then I kind of just threw in, where would you like to rot at the end? I think it was probably too many questions because it generated so much interesting discussion. It was hard to fit everyone in, but nevertheless, it was really interesting just hearing what people had to say. So my sort of context was the question was like, because surely lots of people are like, yeah, connect. So I can understand connection to tribe, connection to social connection. That's a human need, right? We are social animals, at least most of us are. The reason why we've survived is because we work together. So social connection makes sense. But connecting it to non-human things, such as forests, such as mountains, wherever you might live, that might seem a bit woo-woo and airy-fairy, but in my experience of life, I found great comfort in connecting, in feeling belonging to non-human things and to places specifically, because sometimes your only human options for socializing, or your only immediate tribe, are actually not a particularly healthy one. And I've just, through times in my early teens and things, I felt a bit of a weird kid, a bit left out. Stuff that, other people were into, I just wasn't that into. Not that many of my friends were into doing survival skills in the woods. So I just did it by myself. And I found belonging with the trees and the rivers, and going up into the mountains and finding belonging there. Now, of course, I also need human belonging, but the point is that I believe that you can... I'm all about teaching people self-reliance, being able to let people stand on their own feet and get out of situations and change their life whenever they need to, by grounding into the foundations of our human needs. And I've just found great peace in my life when maybe feeling that need for belonging, but potentially the immediate human ones around me are not the healthiest ones. So I feel there's an element that you can become more self-reliant by not relying on potentially negative groups of people to get that sense of belonging. And you can go out and get this sense of belonging from the land for at least long enough for you to find a healthy tribe, or maybe you'll bump into a healthy tribe when you're out camping and out in the wild. So anyway, that's the context. That's why I came up with that question. And for me, I put in this, where would you like to rot, as the same question. To me, it's the same thing, because I'll be honest, my personal answer is I want to rot in a place like this. Right? This is my natural habitat. Mixed Caledonian forest with a beautiful trickling stream with mountains. This has just always been my default safe, happy place. And everywhere that I've lived, I've always tried to live away from cities when I could. And I've always tried to find little secret spots like this. Come in and be what I feel is truly myself, which is a little wild forest creature. So, to me that was an easy answer. I want to rot in the Scottish Highlands in a place like this, because this is where I feel most at home. So anyway, presented this pondering to the tribe at Resilient Roots, and we had some really great discussions. The general consensus for the question on is connection to place a human need was, it's not necessarily, well, it's definitely not a short-term survival need, right? People could live their entire lives and never particularly feel connected to the ecosystem or the country that they're in. But everyone sort of agreed that you can get an amazing sense of well-being for going out and learning more about the habitat and the wildlife around you, learning the names of the plants, their uses, the animals, the names of the places, the history of your land. Everyone agreed that it was a very important thing for well-being. But this question, where would you like to rot, kind of went down many rabbit holes, and people were very interesting discussion came up. yeah, one particular one for me, I won't mention her name in case she wants to remain anonymous, but we have one of the students of Resilient Roots. She is from Eastern Europe originally, but has lived in the UK for a long time. And she asked me, like, well, what do you mean, like, do you mean connecting to places in like a country, or connecting to the earth? Like, earth is in the entire planet. And of course, there's a really good point, because yes, there's lots of people who've either moved or, you know, human populations have always shifted. So yeah, what does that mean? Is it being connected to a country and place, or to the earth? Because of course, all these countries were just drawn by humans. If you look at a map, all these lines, all these borders, there's not actually any lines on planet Earth. Or only the ones that humans have put up fences or walls. So yeah, that was a very interesting point of just like, well, yeah, it's connecting to it's belonging to planet Earth as well. So I guess what I'm going at, there is no right answers when it comes to this. I see this question as a bit of like a Zen koan. It's designed to just kind of break your mind and dive deep, which is what this second channel is all about. But it brought up lots of interesting conversation about the death industry and cremation versus burying, like burial practices, like loads of interesting stuff came up from this. But I guess, again, for me, although I would prefer, if I have a choice, to rot here in the Scottish Highlands, every time I've gone travelling places, I usually, with it, you know, the first few days, few weeks, I don't particularly feel, I just feel obviously alien in whatever environment it is. I've been to Australia and the tropics and things like that, and when you just don't know the names of any of the plants or any of the animals, it's just a bit intimidating. But I've always found great enjoyment and great satisfaction and ultimately like belonging by learning all I can about that new environment I'm in. And it's almost like if you went to a social gathering or a party, you know, you feel lonely until you get to know people in the room, right? You learn their names. You get to understand what their story is. And the same thing when you approach a new forest, a new wild place. So you don't just barge in and not ask anyone's name, right? That would be rude. So you come in, you'd be like, alright, what's your name, tree? And you learn about that. What's its story? How long does it take to grow? What can you use it for? What other habitat is it providing? Oh, what's your name, Mr. Plant? You get the idea. And for me, just my travels and going to new places, that has found great satisfaction and great belonging. So, there's a bit of a random pondering, folks. Let me know in the comments what you think about this question. Where would you like to rot? And yeah, if you want to join in, if you actually want to have a face-to-face conversation on our live calls, then come join us on Resilient Roots. We do live calls last Thursday of every month. And the gatherings in a couple of weeks, so it should be fun. Thanks for tuning in to this pondering, folks, and I'll catch you later. Chitty bye.